Spanish schools finish at 2 p.m. British international schools finish here in Spain at 4 or 4:30. That difference changes your entire daily life here as a family. Your work routine, your after-school activities, your child care, everything. And it is not in any relocation guide. I found it out after we arrived. If you're researching schools here in Spain right now for a September move, this video is going to save you from the gaps I had to fill in the hard way. Last September, I moved my tween and teenager from California to the Costa del Sol, Spain. Most content about the schools here in Spain tells you there are 3 types. You have your public, concertado, and international. And then it stops. What it doesn't tell you is the difference between a good international school and one that looks good but isn't. It doesn't tell you what the application process actually looks like and what the process reveals about the school's values before your child ever walks through that door, and what happens to your child's university options. And it definitely doesn't tell you the thing that sealed my decision, which I'm saving for later because I genuinely did not see it coming. The Costa del Sol has 40 international schools. 40. British curriculum schools are the largest category, leading to IGCSEs and A-levels, with clear pathways to universities across the UK and Europe. Then there's the International Baccalaureate, the IB. Globally recognized, it opens university doors worldwide, including the United States. American curriculum schools specifically designed for families who want U.S. high school diplomas, AP options, and a smooth reentry to American colleges. And then the Scandinavian schools, Swedish, Norwegian, Finnish, the German school, the French school, bilingual Spanish, English schools that blend both curricula. Your nationality, your long-term plan, and where your kids are headed academically, all of that determines which category is right for your family. But here's what nobody tells you. Before you start researching, choosing the right type is only the first decision. The second decision is actually more important because within each category, especially within international schools, there is an enormous difference between a school that teaches to the highest standard and one that teaches to the lowest common denominator. Some international schools cater to a very wide range of nationalities and academic levels, which sounds, but in practice, catering to everyone can mean the school calibrates its teaching to the middle of the room rather than the top of it. So when I was evaluating schools, I asked a specific question, not what is the curriculum and not what are the facilities like. I asked what was the school's philosophy about and what was the kind of kid they were trying to develop. And the answer I got from my children's school here in Spain, it stopped me. They're not raising conformist. That phrase stayed with me. I spent 25 years in corporate America that rewarded conformity, performing within the lines that someone else drew. I definitely had that fear. Am I putting my kids in this American school system that was training my teenagers for exactly the same thing? Show up, follow the format, don't be different. And so when I heard that this school is built around developing independent thinkers, teaching to the highest standard, not the lowest, I understood immediately why the application process looked the way it did. The school I chose has been on the Costa del Sol for over 40 years. So classes are small, significantly smaller than anything I'd experienced back in California. And the application process itself, I'm telling you, that told me everything about this school before my kids ever walked through the door. The application process was unlike anything I'd experienced in California. I started researching private high schools, what they actually cost. Not because my kids were going to private high school. We are a public school family for sure, but because I wanted to understand what families were considering as the alternative. So a recent San Francisco article that just came out last week that Bay Area private schools range from $42,000 to $61,000 per kid per year. So the one I chose, it's a fraction of that. And now let's talk about the application process because there was no application fee. It was entirely pen and paper. writing assessment, reading comprehension, math. It was phased. Your child just completes a stage and then they're given the next one to complete. Every stage had to be passed before they can move on. If a student makes a mistake, they start that page again. They rewrite it. There's no autocorrect. There was no copy and paste. That already just showed the values to me of the process of thinking. The final phase was a virtual interview with the head of the school. And we also requested a separate virtual meeting with the instructor overseeing the secondary school, which my children were about to attend. And that request was accommodated without hesitation. That level of access at the admissions stage tells you exactly what working with the school over the next several years will feel like. One thing I didn't anticipate is that every parent in that school made the same intentional choice we did. They chose an internationally focused, academically rigorous environment for their children, deliberately in a foreign country. And that shared decision is why I've built some of the most genuine adult friendships of my life here, faster than I ever built them back in California. People say you can't make real friends when you're older, but that's just a myth. Here's what nobody told me before I moved. The school I chose has established pathways to universities across the UK, the Netherlands, and Europe broadly. So technically, obviously, any American student can apply to European unis after American high school. The option always existed, but the real profound difference is between an option that technically exists and a reality your child is actually prepared for. My kids have now made an international move. They navigate a completely new academic system every single day, surrounded by students from different countries. They're already internationally mobile in a way that most American teenagers just are not. So when university decisions come, studying in Europe is not unfamiliar or intimidating. They have already done it. The average private 4-year American college costs $58,000 per year, including room and board. Universities in Europe, particularly in the UK and Netherlands, they offer genuinely high quality education at a fraction of that cost as well. I did not plan for my kids to have a more affordable, internationally recognized university pathway. It just happened because of the school I chose and the environment they already are living in everyday life. So that's the unexpected long-term upside nobody put in the brochure. If you are watching this in April and considering a September move, applications are happening now. I just wanted you to know this so you don't wait. Research schools before you research neighborhoods. The school drives the location decisions. Request a virtual meeting with the head of the section your child will be in. And a school that won't accommodate that, well, that's just telling you something important, right? And if your teenagers are resistant, mine absolutely were. My daughter told me I was ruining her life the week before we left. And 2 weeks after we arrived, she said she never wants to move back. The school community they land in will do more to change their minds than anything you can say to them. I have a free guide in the description, and it's thinking through this move practically. Subscribe if you want the honest version every week. See you next week.